Hello everyone, MC here for the 31 days of tarot. Today I will talk about my top 5 tarot books. So I divided the 5 books in 2 categories. There are some books which I use mostly for quick reference. So when I do a spread and or I pull up a card and I want to have a quick overview of what the card means. And there are 2 books which I use mostly for deeper research. When I really, sometimes you pull up a card and you feel that there is a deeper meaning and that you need to work through to get a better perspective or understanding of the card. So I don't have many tarot books, sorry, but these are the 5 ones that I use. Most of all, I like books which give a short and precise description. I like to have different sources because this change my view on the cards, and sometimes different authors have different perspective. So I like to have, like I could say, a large scale view of the card, and when you use different source, this it helps for that. It helps trigger a deeper understanding of the card, because you know that there are many levels to each cards. So 2 guides that I use almost daily for short description. Actually, these are books which came with a tarot deck, which I spoke about earlier. So the Everyday Witch Tarot. So I really like this small guidebook. Like I said earlier about the deck, it's a fun deck. It's light. It's light. It's bright. It's easy to use. It's friendly. It's colorful. And I like the book because everything is in color, and yeah, the descriptions are really short, but to the point. So I really like. And another book which I like for that is the guide for the Steampunk Tarot, which I also spoke about in my previous videos. The tone of the Steampunk Tarot is really original, and Barbara Moore is really good at pointing straight to the core meaning of each card. So these are, for me, two good quick reference. So they both two came with the decks, so you cannot buy these books alone. Another book which I like is The Spirit of Herbs. It's about the Spirit of Herbs deck, but it's not sold together, so you can buy the deck, but you need to buy the book separately. So what I like, so for example, you have one, again, short description for each card. You have a herb which is assigned to each card. Then you have a description of the spiritual properties of the herb, the medicinal properties, the dose, how to use the herb. Then you have keywords, affirmation. So it's like that for each card. So for example, which card could I take? The Ace of Cups. Okay, it's the Ace of Cups is associated with the lotus flower. So if you can see, the cards are in color, though I don't have them close by. But so you learn how to work with the energy of the card, the energy of the flower. Then do you take this herb as an essence, as a tea? And you also have herbal allies. If you don't have lotus flower, they tell you which other herb you can use. So I really like this small reference book here. So for more in-depth research, I have, of course, the book which is a classic for tarot readers, the 78 Degree of Wisdom. Yeah, this is a classic. This is a good reference, and there's something mysterious about this book in a way which is that every time I do research on a card, I can see, for example, that I already went through the explanation because I underline stuff, but sometimes it feels like there is new stuff coming out which I did not read before, or I don't know exactly, but there's really something special about this book. She also talks about what she calls the gate cards, which are cards which I think it's maybe about 10 or 12 cards in the whole deck, which you can use for meditation, contemplation, but which bring, if you focus, if you work on these cards, they really bring you into a different state of mind. And yeah, like she called them gate cards. So these cards are really to work with specifically to, I don't know, I always see it like entering a tunnel. These cards have more depth than other cards. They trigger something. She does not go in details about gate cards, but I feel that there is something important about these specific cards. You can search on Google Rachel Pollack gate cards to know which are these cards. I think there are 12 or 13, something like that. Yeah, so this book is my go-to if I want to do in-depth research about a card. Sometimes I can spend 3 days, a week, 2 weeks studying one card specifically. And the last book, which is also a reference book, which is quite heavy. It's the Holistic Tarot by Benebell Venn. You might already know her. She's quite active on YouTube, and she has a blog, and she just launched her own tarot deck. So as you can see, I use this book a lot. It's really a good reference book. I bought it, I think, 2 years or 3 years ago when I started studying tarot. And the thing is, you have a description for each card, but she goes much more in depth. You have many, many examples of readings to do. What I like also is you have affirmation for each card. It's really helpful when you try to understand a card in depth to have these affirmation in. So I often go back there. Also the association with the planets. I'm just really doing a quick overview of the book because there's so much stuff in. So if you're starting, this is a good reference book, but take care, it can also be overwhelming. So it's not a book that you read from the first to the last page. It's really a book to scan through and use as you need. So these were my five favorite tarot books. I will catch up on the 31 Days of Tarot because I think I'm already quite late. So I hope you like this video, and I see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.